In today's video, I shall share some homeopathic medicines which will bring you immediate relief in dry cough, along with the reasons why dry cough is produced and the precautions you need to take. And at the end of this video, I will share with you how to prepare a homemade cough syrup. So stay with me till the end. Dry cough. Any person who has cough for more than a week immediately requires a chest x-ray to confirm the presence or absence of infection in their lungs or in the respiratory tract. But in most of the cases, in spite of the patient's chest x-ray being normal, in spite of the patient being a non-smoker, there would still be cough, and this cough is troubling the patient a lot. Now, in my experience, there would generally be three common reasons because of which a person has dry cough. One is subclinical sinusitis, the other early bronchial asthma, third one acid reflux. So today I'll be discussing about each of these things and the precautions you need to take. Sinusitis is something which I'm sure you must have heard, and you all know the symptoms as well. But now, what is subclinical sinusitis? There would be none of these symptoms because the patient is in a very early form of sinusitis, and what is happening is inside the sinuses present over here, there would be a slightly more amount of fluid than normal. This excess fluid would be dripping into the throat posteriorly. We will call this as post-nasal drip. Now, this post-nasal drip would be irritating the throat, and this irritation would be triggering a cough. And this cough would be aggravated whenever the patient is lying down. So, what should be the precautions we need to take? The patient has to be advised to have steam inhalation at least twice a day. And just plain water is sufficient for steam inhalation. You don't need to add any kind of a vapor rub or some kind of an oil or something to it. Just plain water is sufficient to reduce the fluid in the sinuses. That would immediately give some relief. Second thing is, you can help the patient by elevating the head side of the bed of the patient. I don't recommend using two pillows because that could lead to spondylitic pain. So the most common homeopathic medicine which I use in this condition wherein cough is produced by subclinical sinusitis would be Rumix crispus 30 potency. Now here in this patient there would be lots of dry cough, and the cough would be exhausting cough, so that the patient is tired after a bout of cough. Not only that, the patient is not able to lie down, so he has to sit and sleep, because the moment he tries to lie down he would be getting a cough, so he cannot lie down. And there would be a lot of sensitivity of the throat, so anything touches the throat, so like he can't wear a tie, or even if he just physically touches the throat or the doctor tries to examine the throat, immediately cough would be triggered, and there would be pain in the chest because of the cough. If these sort of symptoms are seen, Rumix crispus 30 potency would help the patient a lot. The next common medicine I use here is Drosera rotundifolia 30 potency. Now here the symptoms would be that the patient has a very loud cough. It would be dry, but it would also be very loud. And generally, this cough starts after the patient has overused his throat. Like for people who have been shouting a lot, who have been talking loudly, who have been laughing loudly, or who had had an episode of loud crying wherein they had used their vocal cords a lot. And after this episode, when the patient develops dry cough, Drosera would help. And you should also remember that Drosera patient generally will be absolutely normal throughout the entire day. But the moment the patient's head touches the pillow when he tries to lie down, immediately cough starts. So these are the symptoms based on which you should use Drosera. The next common reason why people develop dry cough would be early bronchial asthma. We all have heard about asthma, but what is early bronchial asthma? So what usually happens here, a patient when he tries to take in air, the air will be passing through the nose, larynx, trachea, and then into the bronchi and bronchioles before it enters into the lungs. So the wider the air passages are, the easier it would be for the air to pass into the lungs, and the patient will be feeling comfortable and energetic. Here, In this particular patient, the bronchi start contracting or the air passages start contracting. In a full-fledged asthma, the contraction is so severe that the patient is not able to breathe. But in this particular state of early bronchial asthma, there is a contraction, but it is not so severe. But the body still detects the contraction. It will try to force air through the contracted part so that the contraction can be forced open. Now, this is what produces the cough. And for us who are living in India, this is a very common reason for dry cough because of the air pollution, the pollutants which are present in the air, and the dust particles which are present in the air. And it is very common to see that this patient has got an aggravation of the cough in the early mornings or in the late evenings or in the winters. Why? Because of the fog-like weather conditions present in these timings, the particles would be suspended in the air, which would be causing a more frequent triggering mechanism for the cough. So, what are the precautions which we need to take? We need to advise the person to be wearing a mask whenever he has to go out at these times, say in the early morning or in the late nights, and also to keep the windows closed during these times. And in winters, it is preferable that the patient does not venture out during these times as far as possible. And the most common homeopathic medicine of my choice would be Squilla maritima 30 potency. Here the patient has got dry cough and the patient is so tired or weak after a bout of cough that he almost collapses. And the weakness in the body is very visible, and you can also notice that the patient passes out a few drops of urine involuntarily while coughing because of the weakness. Along with the dry cough, there would be a very serious need to take in deep breath, because at some point there would be an insufficient air passage into the lungs. And in Squilla, the cough would be triggered whenever the patient is exposed to cold air or he is taking cold water or cold food. Anything which is cold generally triggers the cough. The third and the most common reason why a patient develops cough would be acid reflux. And here the patient is having cough because of the excess amount of acid present in his stomach. Yes, you might say that, doctor, I don't have any sort of gastric symptoms like heartburn or sore irritations or burning pain in my stomach, nothing at all. Then how can excess acid produce cough in me? Yeah, you need to understand something here, that the amount of excess acid required to produce these gastric symptoms would be almost like a cup full of extra acid. But for cough to be triggered, only a spoonful of extra acid would be sufficient to trigger cough in a patient because of the acid coming into the esophagus. So what should be done here to reduce the symptoms? Very simple. You are not supposed to have too much of junk food. You are supposed to follow a healthy lifestyle. You are supposed to follow food at regular time intervals. And it is also important that you avoid waking late into the night. In short, all the habits which you have developed of recent because of the modern lifestyle. It is also important that you avoid lying down immediately after eating. At least wait for 2 hours before you lie down after your meal. And in this condition, I would generally use Spongia tosta, a homeopathic preparation in the 30 potency, and the symptoms would generally be that the patient has got lots of dryness in his throat and in his air passages. So dry it is that whenever the patient is breathing in the air, he would feel that the air is passing over dry passages. He would say, Doctor, andar pura sukha ho gaya hai. I am feeling very dry inside. And here the patient would have a desire to drink something hot. It could be hot water or hot soup or something. Even food, he would try to take something hot, because whenever he has something hot, his cough symptoms would be subsided. And along with the dry cough, a spongia patient would generally be having lots of hoarseness. His voice would have changed because of the dryness. Now, in this situation, it is good to have spongia tosta. The next common medicine which I usually prescribe for cough due to gastric reasons would be Nux vomica 30 potency. Here, the patient would generally have dry cough with a severe headache. And a Nux vomica patient would generally be having more cough in the early morning after waking up or after eating the food. And a Nux vomica patient also has a mild tenderness in his epigastric region along with his cough. And Nux vomica is very commonly suitable for people who have the habit of waking late into the night, or generally people who are extremely stressed out. It could be an adult because of his job, or it could be a child because of his examinations or because of his classes, or whatever it could be. So stressed out people with a lot of addictions, it could be the addiction could be tea, coffee, or alcohol, or smoking, any addiction. So these are people who are generally benefited by using Nux vomica. So just remember, so I have shared a few homeopathic remedies. So use these medicines for a week to 10 days. If you do not get relief, please consult your nearest homeopathic doctor, because there are many medicines, not just the few medicines which I have shared in this video. There are a lot more medicines which could help you with immediate effect. So now, like I have promised in the beginning of this video, I would share a preparation to make your own homemade cough syrup. So what are the things which you need? You would need half a spoon of pepper, half a spoon of cumin, and I would want you to coarsely powder these two things, and then have half a spoon of grated ginger. You need to take a cup of water, put all these three ingredients into it and start boiling. 5 minutes into the boil, add 1/4 spoon of salt. I would prefer rock salt to be added, and then allow it to boil for 5 more minutes. After that, filter this water, take away all the particles present in it, store this hot liquid in a flask, and use this mixture 4 to 5 times in a day, mixed with equal quantity of honey. So what you do, 1 spoon of this mixture and 1 spoon of honey, mix them together in a bowl and then take it. So this is your cough syrup mixture, and immediately after taking this mixture for at least 15 minutes, don't drink or eat anything. It is also important that you make this particular mixture on a daily basis. Whatever you have prepared today, finish it by the end of the day, and if it is not finished, throw it away. Make a fresh preparation for the next day. So there, my dear friends, in today's video I have shared with you the most common reason why people develop dry cough, along with the precautions and the homeopathic medicines you need to use to reduce the symptoms instantaneously. And also don't forget to use the cough syrup mixture. I hope you found today's video informative, and if you did like this video, please press the like button, and if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon. This is Dr. Suresh Somyajula signing off for today. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu.